Hello everyone, my name is Your German Scientist. I am a scripter for the Roblox group, Refined Gentleman, and I am going to be trying to make an inventory system in this devlog. I have a little bit experience in making not devlogs, in making an inventory system, but at the time of me trying to make said inventory systems, I had not been successful because I had been lacking essential items in scripting, such as module scripts, scaling, and other such things. The way I'm going to be doing these devlogs is I'm going to be showing this screen, so obviously the testing, and then the second screen, which I'm fading in now, which is where I'm going to be showing my thought process and how I'm going to get through all of my problems and such things. Yeah. So the way we're going to begin this is I'm going to stop this and I'm going to list out things on this whiteboard of things that I'm going to need when making an inventory system. So, of course, we're going to need GUI. What this basically stands for. The G it basically means interactable, and this is user interface, so it's everything that appears on the player screen. So, for example, if I can switch back to here, I'm going to quickly get rid of that. I'm going to make a screen GUI, then I'm going to make a frame, and this is UI, so this is not GUI. But if I were to add a text button, this is GUI because you can actually interact with it, uh, whereas this you cannot. This frame right here. So, in the GUI, what I was thinking is that we are going to have a hotbar. So obviously you've seen in many games at the bottom center of your screen, you usually have something when you have a game with an inventory system, of course, where you can oh my goodness. You can basically just select stuff without having to go inside of the inventory, and it's basically just a quick select system. Then we're going to have the actual inventory. So this is going to be non-accessible from the main screen. So for example, we're going to need the player to press M, E, anything that we want, and it's going to pop up a menu. I do have a little bit of experience making these things, so it shouldn't be too hard, but the main problem is scripting. So now that we have everything we need for the GUI, we're going to move on to the different scripts that we're going to need, or the different things that have to do with scripts that are going to be needed. So I'm going to call this scripts. Oh, put an extra dot up there. Oops. All right. So under scripts, let's think of everything we need to have in an inventory system. So let's say I were to have a block right here, and that block we were able to pick it up. Of course, that is going to require a script, so we're going to put that under scripts. So pick up. We are then, after that, going to have a way to have events, local events. Let me just erase this quickly. So local events. And the reason I call them local events is because if we were to have an event that was on the server side, that can lead to some issues. So when I say local events, it's more specific. Of course, you can have events that occur on the server side, but that's not really going to be of use to us at this current moment. Of course, that can change because I'm doing this from scratch, so I may come across issues. But for right now, we're going to do only local events. So this can be hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. on your keyboard and being able to select an item. So in that respective slot. We are also going to have, let's think, functions. So this is going to be under starter player, and it's going to be a module. And I am not going to get into what a module is. If you're watching this, you probably won't be, but the basics of it is that it's a table or any such thing that can be returned, and you can access multiple things such as functions, arrays, and other such things from the same module. Um, oh, yeah, no, this is it. The next thing that we're going to need is, I'm going to title this physical space. So instead of the scripts that we are going to need or the GUI, this is going to be everything that we need in the physical space. So if I return back to Studio, this isn't going to be a thing, so I'm just going to show a quick little script I made. This is a time script, so it's not going to be a script. It's not going to be a part of GUI. It's going to be the actual physical space that the player character can interact with. Yeah. So under physical space, we're going to need something called a tool. Hmm. What else are we going to need? I don't think anything else. Let's do physical. Oh, made an accidental line right there. We are not going to worry about that. So physical GUI. And the reason why I say physical GUI and why this is different from GUI is because it can be changed whether it is on screen and the orientation of it based on where the player is. So the example that I am going to use, so I'm going to get a part, I'm going to make this a tiny bit taller, make this a cube, and then under this part, don't mind all these parts, that's used for the modeling. I'm doing this with one other person. We're going to make a proximity prompt. And this is physical GUI. And the reason why it's called physical GUI, or the reason I call it physical GUI, that may not be the actual name, is because if we were to walk up to it, we get something that is not in the physical space. So this is local to me. Only I can see this when I walk up to it. And it basically displays text and an interactable button. And that's why it's GUI and not UI, if anyone's curious. So, under physical GUI, I'm going to write proximity prompt, or proximity prompt. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm almost positive that these scripts it's going to be much more than expected, so I'm going to drag that over there and keep this as my general screen. So my screen is going to get a little weird. I'm going to implement all the things that I put on that list into my game, or me and my partner's game. So the first thing that we are going to do is make a... Oh, I completely forgot to mention this. There's also this script right here called disable backpack. What this does is make sure that the generic Roblox inventory system is completely disabled, so that way I do not have to worry about it when coding in tools, because tools, for the most part, will go inside of the normal backpack and cause issues and problems that I'm not going to get into again. But here's the script if anyone is looking for that. But that's what that is. So I'm going to make a screen GUI under starter GUI. I'm going to call this inventory GUI. In this GUI, I'm going to make a frame, and the reason I'm not doing interactable GUI is because this is going to be the placeholder. Oops, sorry. This is going to be the placeholder for all the buttons and, all the things that you can actually interact with the GUI. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this. I have this plugin called Autoscale Light. You can find it in plugins, and it basically just changes it from scale to offset. So now it's on scale. I'm going to add a constraint. That way, this, no matter what I'm looking at it from, it's always in the exact same spot. Now, I'm actually going to get rid of this to adjust it for the game. Okay, let's see. How large of an inventory do I want? 80? Yeah, 80 is good. So I go into plugins. I go back. Oh, whoops. Okay, so I just did it. Now, I'm going to. Well, if I can actually find this. Oh, the position is already. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make this. Now, I'm not going to check visible down because I need the children of this to be visible. But now I'm going to make a button, and this button is going to basically be able to be. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. This button is going to be used as the actual inventory slot, or the thing that's going to show up. Now, the reason why I'm going to be using a button is if we go back to scene 2, and I go to GUI, there's not only a hotbar, but an inventory. So the way I'm going to get it from the hotbar to the inventory is to be able to click on the button, and that's going to send it to the respective spot if enough inventory space is available. But we're going to get to that later. So I'm now going to insert under this frame a UI. I'm going to search up UI, sorry, and I'm going to look for, here it is, UI list layout. So what this does, I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm going to call this the hotbar because that's what it is. I'm going to size this to my liking. So we'll do 80 by 80. Yeah, that looks alright. 80 by 80. And now we have the button. And it looks a little boring, so I'm going to spice this up a tad bit, add a little bit of corner. Let's see if we can find a good font too. Font, font. Oh, here we go. Font face. So, this is a facility game. There's stuff over there that I'm not going to get into because that's going to be showed in the released game. But for now, we have a good button, right? It looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm going to keep it like this. So, we're going to go back into plugins and turn this to scale. Now I'm going to call this button template, and I'm going to drag this into replicated storage. Now, what replicate? You know what? I keep trying to explain things. I'm not going to explain anything. But now that we have the UI list layout, I'm going to make the padding 5. I'm going to make the, oh my goodness, I cannot talk. Alright, let's see. Does this work if I were to duplicate this? Whoa, why did that go all the way up there? It does! See? Now, the player can have different slots for their inventory. Another thing that I'm going to add into this is going to be a text label, and this label is going to fall like right about here. It's going to be very teeny tiny, and it's going to have an invisible background. It's going to say 1. Oh, no, I just titled it that. Whoops. I'm going to call this number. It might be revealed what I'm trying to do here, but that's going to show what number it is. So, what button you have to click to select? I don't know why I can't talk. If I can just get it up a little bit more. Eh, we'll fix that later. But for now, it's going to look like just this. I'm actually going to scale this down a teensy tiny bit. So there we go. Now what we have is a nice button, and I'm going to put it back into replicated storage. Let's see. I'm just going to start with this for now, but later I might do more things. So, here's what I'm thinking. So if I can change this back. So since we have finished off the hotbar, I guess it's not completely finished, so I'll put like a half X. You know, looks a little wonky. It looks like a backwards Y, but you know what? I'll cross it out for now. Why not? Now that we have this, I'm going to code in a pickup script. So this is the next thing on the to-do list. So back into Roblox Studio, and I'm going to make a tool. In this tool, I'm going to make a part, and this part is going to be our template for a tool. Here's a block. Now that we have an actual thing, I'm going to drag this back into the tool and just call this a block. Out of there. Now what we need to do is we need to make a script inside of the block, or actually first I have to make this into a handle. Then I'm going to make the proximity prop that I was talking about. And inside of here, I'm going to make a script. This is going to be our script that handles with the server side pickup. So I'm going to call this pickup. Very simple name, very straightforward. So in this script, I am going to do local prox prompt. So that is going to be my variable that I'm going to name the proximity prompt. Script.parent. And then what else do I need to reference? Oh, I also need to reference the block. So I'm going to say local tool Yeah, I'll be fine with that. And I'm actually going to change this to a lowercase p. Oh, turned on that stupid thing. White box. If anyone has issues, by the way, with this white box, all you have to do is press insert on your keyboard. For me, it's towards the upper right corner of my keyboard in a little 3x3 square, but for you it might be different. But just look for the insert key or INS. It might be simplified. So tool is going to be prox prompt dot parent, and now we have the variables that we are going to need to change or send some sort of signal to the script. Not script, the server. So we are going to do script. Oh, nope, we already made a variable. That was a little dumb. So prox prompt dot triggered. Eh, trigger ended. What's the difference? Triggers when key button is no. We'll say this. I'm actually going to change this quickly. So object text block, and I'm going to do a whole actually max activation as 1. Turn this into 1, and then I'm actually going to quickly turn that out so that doesn't produce an error. And then I'm going to go up to it and see what this looks like and if it's nice. Oh dear, that is not working too well. What has gone wrong? Why can I not see this? Oh, I misread that. I thought it was the maximum number of players. I had seen that. Uh, I had seen that before, and I thought it was players. Okay, let's see. Block interact. Yeah, I like that. It's pretty nice, I would say. What in the world? Give me 1 second. Okay, so back to where I was going to. Always low. Okay. So no. Oh, wait. I didn't even do what I was meaning to do. So that also is going to show up in the server every time I load in. So I'd say we can actually reduce the amount of time. We'll say 0.5, and we'll leave it like that for now. So we need to send some sort of trigger or something when it's triggered, so that way the server knows that this player is trying to pick something up. So I'm going to do prox prompt dot triggered, and we're going to do triggered. Then we're going to connect this to some sort of function, and we're going to leave it like this for now because I don't know what the function is going to be. We're just going to connect it to something, or maybe fire to the server. Can I do? Oh, no, you cannot. You have to do it inside of the function. Okay, so back to the list. Oh, I had it on here the whole time. I did not realize. Here is what I did, if anyone's curious. So going to go back to here, and I'm going to remove proximity prompt. I am going to remove pickup because I have to connect this to some sort of function, and that's probably going to need the module. And we've also made the tool. Of course, all of these things are not completely finished. I'm just marking off since I've created them. So we're going to do functions next. This is going to be a function detector, or not detector, I should say, something that can be used by any of the server scripts, so not the local client scripts. So I'm going to make a folder. Oh my goodness, I am not doing this. I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to call it inventory. I am going to make a module script under this, and I'm going to call this inventory functions server. Now that I've called this that, I'm going to call this local function, so that's going to be the module, and then it's going to return module or functions to all things requiring it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make functions dot. So whenever this is triggered, I want it to use a function up here. So if it is triggered, what I want to do is I want to send some sort of, so I'm going to call this move tool, I'll say move tool. And this is going to be equal to function, and then inside of here, we're going to probably put a couple of parameters, but for now, above prox prompt, because I like to consider module scripts as the most important for all the scripts that require them. I'm going to call this server functions, and this is going to be equal to require game.server script service. Oh no, not server storage. Script service dot inventory dot Wow, that is a long name. Okay, so we're going to connect this to server functions dot move tool. So now I'm going to just make sure this works. I'm going to say okay. And I have to be careful to not get too close to it, because if I get too close to it, then it is going to pick up and I won't be able to do anything. Okay, it does print okay, so we have a running function. Okay, so what we next have to do is, let me think about this. Player who triggered. Oh, okay, so this is good. So if I ask for the player, and then I print the player, does this still work? If this does work, then we are cooking with gasoline. It does. Now we have a working function, and that is quite nice. So I'm trying to think what what else can I do? I'm gonna try to limit myself to 1 hour, and that is probably going to mean I only have time to make the pickup script, but I think that's going to be okay. Inside of Move Tool, what I probably need to do here is now see, here is the thing. Okay, I can do everything on the server side right now and do everything on the local side in a later devlog. So in Move Tool, we need the player, and that should be about it, because the tool is going to stay as its name, and that means I can just keep it like that. For now, of course. Probably going to change that later. So, oh, that's what we need to do. We're going to give this some extra information. So, tool. Now, here is the issue that presents itself. If I pass through cool and I try to print player, does it still work? Let me check. Now what is this here? I will figure out what that is in a second, I guess. Cool. Where did I print this? There. Oh dear. So this is where we run into some issues. Um, Player who triggered and connects. But the thing I don't understand though is that I cannot, can I do underscore? D, no, I cannot do underscore. So this is a serious issue, and I have to figure out how to solve this. Maybe if I, no. Given to the event and returns, connects the given function to an event. Ugh, so this is the one thing I do not like about coding. It does print that, but I cannot print the tool that it needs, or the destination it needs to go to. And that's very unfortunate. I don't know how I can pass that information along. That's, I, mm. However, if I were to connect it to a function, and wait, so I have the player, and then I also have the tool that it's going to be that is going to be used. I don't even need to do this. So if I just get rid of this, I don't think I don't have the knowledge in order to do that on a module script, so I'm going to skip that. So I am going to do this here. I'm going to make this tool.parent is equal to player.backpack. So if I were to run this, I'm going to go into here, and if this does work, nothing should pop up in the GUI, but it should go into my backpack. And it does. Huzzah. Hurrah. Very cool. Okay, so I kind of lied. I definitely will have enough time to do some sort of local side. So on to starter player scripts. In here I'm going to call this events, and this is going to be under a folder, which is also called inventory. And when I say also, I don't mean what I just called the script, I just mean the other folder. And in this events thing, I'm going to connect it to all things. So I'm going to actually, I'm also going to make the second module, and I'm going to title this local functions. And actually, I'm going to put it events under it. So if I go back to my whiteboard, I'm going to add local functions. And the reason I'm going to do it locally is because for GUI, I don't know this. Of course, again, this could change, but for now, I'm going to try to make things local because I think it will work out better for me. I'm going to put this back, and this module is going to be called local functions. Local functions. All right. So what we have to do here is we have to fire the server in order to tell it that we just picked up something so it can add a button. So the way I think I'm going to go about doing this is I'm going to go to replicated storage, go to remote event. I'm going to grab one of these. I'm going to rename this picked up so I can differentiate between this and the script if that ever comes into play. And I am going to reference it. Local picked up is equal to not false. What in the world? Game.replicatedStorage.picked up. And then I'm going to do picked up dot, colon, fire client. And the client I'm going to fire is the player. Now that we have this, any sort of thing that is looking out for it is going to find it. So we're going to do this in the events folder, and we're going to connect something in the local functions module. So inside of here, I'm going to do, first this is always good practice for me. I do game.players.localPlayer just so I can show who that is. I should say it just makes everything easier because you have to reference the player a lot usually. Now I'm going to do local picked up again and do the exact same thing that I did in the other script. Now, I'm going to do picked up dot on client event connect, and we are not going to pass through any information because we don't actually have the module ready yet. So, oh, here's what we need to do also. We need to do, again, I'm actually going to put the second because the player I think is more important. That's how I like to do abstraction. That might not be the proper way, but that's the way I like to do it. I'm going to call it local functions is equal to require, oh, I should say script dot parent. Now we can get started on making a button synthesizing script. So we're going to say local, oh no, functions dot, I'll say create button is equal to function. We'll pass some information along through here probably, and here's our script. So I'm going to do local lowercase b button is equal to, oh, here we go. So game dot replicated storage dot button template clone. Now, if I were to just do button dot parent is equal to script dot parent dot parent. So let's see, that's going to be in the starter player script dot parent dot player GUI. If I were to just do, oh, wait for child player GUI. Wait, okay, this is a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I'm still going to do this. Inventory GUI, wait for child, hotbar. What this should do, if I were to run this, so let's say, oh, here we go. So local functions dot create button, and I just played it. What should happen, of course, my scripting might be off, I might have forgotten something, might have done an error, but if this works, yeah, a button appears. So now all we have to do, since we have the basic concept done, is we have to use our principles. I am going to just leave it at this, and I'm going to pass through a little bit of data just for it to know. So the way I'm going to do this, so since I did fire client player, what else values to pass to on client events connected to the same remote event? Ugh. I am a little bit confuzzled. If I am right, if I were to pass on, let's say, coolness, and I'm going to call this string. Oh, wait, no. String. I'll just, oh no, I can't do that because that's going to pass on to create button. Huh. How do I do this? Values to pass to on client event, events connected to the same remote event. I did this before. What is so challenging about this? I'll say this is, this might be my fix. I'll just say name, and I say name. I'm going to pass along. Why can't I pass this? I still don't know. Okay, what happens here if I do function item? Why does this work now? This is very aggravating. Item. Okay. It is 7:20. I have been recording for 46 minutes. My goodness, already. Row. Okay. Here now lies the problem. So, since I am indirectly casting a function, I think that is where my problem lies. Dot create button. And then inside of here, I put the name. Oh dear. But I can't do that. Maybe I can do this. What were to happen? Oh, no, that is not going to work. What I could do here actually is I connect this to a function, and inside of here, I do this instead. So I pass through the name, and what did I call this? Yeah, so row. No. I should do tool.name instead, so that way it will be easier. Name, and then inside of here, I put local functions dot create button, and inside of here, I just put name. Now, if this were to work, wait, what did I tell it to do? Nothing. Giddy, giddy. Name. Here we go. Now, if I were to go back up to this, and I click it, block. This is good news. This is good news. Now that I have the name, I can do, oh, I can do button.parent is equal to I. That would not be too good. So what I'm going to do instead, excuse me, I don't think I have much choice here. Alright, well, I'm just going to go from here. Sorry about that. I'm going to add a little bit of extra time onto this recording, just so I can do this. So, I'm contemplating if it would be worth it. So, hmm. Okay, I don't think it would be worth it. So, button dot parent is equal to script dot parent. This is going to be the folder. Parent is equal to, or that's the starter player scripts, and then above that uh, is the actual player. Then we're going to go down, wait for child, player, oh, not pair, player GUI, then wait for child, inventory GUI, and the next thing we're going to do is either hotbar or uh, hotbar or, yep, the other inventory. So I'm going to call this destination, and the past destination we can't actually know, so what we'll do instead is we'll just call this toString hotbar. Oh, you know what? No, we'll just call this hotbar. Then in here, we are going to call this destination, and then do destination. And that should work if I did that right. If I go up to here, and again, this script will change. This is more the testing phase. It does work, which is quite cool. Okay, the next thing on the list of to do is we're going to do button dot, no, not button dot, uh, we have an issue that presents itself, button dot name. We have to pass some values through here. So the next thing I'm going to do is a variable that is not something that references anything. It's literally just a variable, and I'm going to call this items, and this is equal to 0. So this is the amount of items total in the hot bar. So I'll say hot bar. I'm going to capitalize this I, and now we have this. And we are going to pass hotbar items as well through this, and we're going to put hot item items. Yeah. So let's do button dot, no. Wait. Button dot name is equal to items. And okay. Well, if we're doing that too, we have to do script dot parent dot parent dot parent dot backpack. Is it like I can't remember now. I know that's going to cause an error, but I cannot care less right now. It is backpack. Okay. So dot backpack dot, oh, I should say in brackets, name. So this is going to find the thing with the name of the item, and we're going to call this the number of items. So let's actually not differentiate for now between hotbar items and inventory items. So we're going to call this items again. And now that we have that too, we now should be looking at a semi-working starter system. Oh, nope. So what's going on here? Block is not a valid member of backpack, but it is. So I think what we need to do here is instead of that, we're going to do wait for child. Then inside of here, we're going to reference the name. Now, why won't that work? What is going on here? What we could do here is do wait for child backpack. Whoa. And then name. Oh, wait a minute. Name and the pass through. No. The name should be all the way over here. It should be a string, but just in case, I will do that. Now, see if I can keep this as limited as possible with the amount of wait for childs I use, that will be greatly appreciated. So if this works to fix the bug, then that will be very nice. It will not. So that means it already was a string. That's what I suspected, but we continue. We continue. Backpack. Then we have that is equal to items. So now if I go back over here, will you work? No, you will not. And what is the reason for this? We could do task.wait. We do just a little parsing. We'll actually do no time just for it to load this script after. This will not help. So backpack. Whoa, what in the world? Okay, I'm back, and I'm still running. Cool. If I pick up the block, no, it still will not work. Now, this may be an underlying issue that I need to solve if it's not what I think it is. What I think is going on is that the local script is running before the server script. No, okay. So there is an issue that is being presented that does not have to do with that. Okay, so let's look at this from another perspective. Ooh, just over an hour. Block is not a valid member of players dot ninjishua dot backpack. But it is, so why will this not work? Um, let's see if, whoa, what am I doing? Block. So if we have print, so what I'm hoping this is gonna do is it's going to print if it finds block. If it doesn't find block, then I'm going to try something else. If it does, then yay. Now, it does print block. So the issue is with the name. That is good to know. I just fact-checked this. So, proof of concept, name is equal to items. Alright, so name is the issue. Let's print name is a string. Now, if it is, then hooray. If it's not, womp womp. Attempt to call missing method is of string. Oh, is a type of string. Okay. Okay. I'm still new to scripting. I have about 50 hours, so it's, attempt to. Uh, why will this not work? Okay. We're just going to print name to see what it gives. And if it just gives block, then I'm going to be very sad. Very, very sad. Block is not a valid member of backpack. Now, what if, instead of backpack, it's just in the parent? So in order to do this, we're going to do pickup. Is it in pickup? Yes. So we're going to do into player. What this is going to do, hopefully, is see if there's an issue somewhere along the line, but it still won't work. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways, we're going to end this off. I'm going to get back into my chair where I began this video, and I am going to say goodbye. So, goodbye, people. Uh, I will see you in the next episode or devlog. Bye.